Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Get in the Herd After Hours. After Hours. I'm your host, Alex Bond. I am a staff member at the McShin Foundation. What this podcast is a recovery podcast brought to you by the McShin Foundation. About myself, I am a person in recovery from substance use disorder who has abstained from using any mood or mind altering substances for just over a year now.
Yeah.
And I am very grateful for it. I'm amped to have my buddies on tonight. I got Laine and Joe. Eli ought to be joining us in a little bit. He is preoccupied continuing to help the community. Laine, Joe, how you guys doing?
Woo, let's go, baby.
Good.
Amped to have you guys on. Laine, why don't you introduce yourself to those who don't know you?
Yeah, so I'm Laine, person also in long-term recovery. Big shout to McShin, man. Lots of love to McShin. I am a former participant, alumni, and I have found recovery in Narcotics Anonymous. Clean date January 21st, 2016.
Yeah.
But I'm still crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Get him. Joe. Well, Laine, we're very happy to have you on. Joe, why don't you tell the people who you are?
What's up? My name is Joe. I'm an addict. I went through McShin, man. I'm appreciative of them. I got there in July. July 19th of 2017. My clean date is July 15th of 2017. And they introduced me
Get 'em.
To a 12-step program, which I'm forever grateful for. They taught me a lot of structure in my life. How to make my bed, how to do a budget for groceries, and like grow up. I was 20 years old when I got to the foundation. So they had a lot of work. And they ain't never give up on me.
That's awesome, man. I'm very grateful to have you all on. Again, Eli will probably be joining us in a little. Joe, you brought up something that I wanted to talk about a little bit. So you got clean at 20 years old, right?
Yeah, just shy. I was I turned 21 October 6th of 2017. So I had about 90 days from 20 to 21. Yeah.
So what was that process like? I mean, you were getting clean before you were able to legally drink. I assume that didn't matter. At least it didn't for me personally.
Yeah.
Do you think you're at an advantage or like a disadvantage getting clean so young? A lot of people think you have to have that lived-in experience, like you never hit your true bottom, and that sort of nonsense.
So like talking about a bottom is like I struggle with that a lot. Like I came in the recovery house and dudes with no teeth, dudes that been to the penitentiary and everything, told me stuff like they spilled more beer or they pissed more beer than I've ever drank, and they spilled more powder than I've ever sniffed. I wasn't an IV user. I never shot drugs. I sniffed them. And the end of my road, a guy came to tell me like your pain is great enough when you say it is, Joe. So at the age of 20, I had 20, I had caught 26 charges in almost 3 years, and all in
Well
Chesapeake.
qualified.
Yeah, I mean, I had been through some shit. I had been through IOP programs.
Mm-hmm.
I had done the doctors, the therapists, the psychologists, all that, and it never seemed to work. I might get a little, a couple months here and there abstinent from drugs, but never sober, never clean, never, a way of recovery. So when I came here, it just depended on how my outlook was on that day and those people I was around, whether this ain't that bad, or maybe I need to go get more pain, man. But thank God, for my sponsor, he taught me. He's like, man, your pain great enough when you say it is, Joe. The only difference between your story and my story is, you just have yets. You're still eligible to,
No, that's very well said, man. I mean, like, and when you came in, were you consistently like, Laine? This is an open question to you too, because I've talked about this before. Is like I didn't want this. I wanted to figure out how I could use on the weekends or something like that. Were you kind of the same way, either of y'all?
I mean, I think that's a tough question. I got clean in 2005. I was 24.
Okay.
The first time I got clean, and actually, I called my mom. Big shouts to my mom, and I told her that I wanted to stop getting high. I was miserable, and I was dating a girl at the time who had an ex-boyfriend who had gone on a chase from the cops because he was trying to kill himself, and he shot a bunch of dope in the car and wrecked his car going 90 miles per hour. And we went to go see him at St. Mary's, and it was the first time I had watched life leave someone.
Wow.
And it was like the most surreal experience for me. And it was like in that moment, I wanted to stop getting high. And I called my mom, and she somehow got a guy's number. And so she gave me this guy's number, and I called him, and he was like, get your ass on down to McShin and come get clean down here, boy. Right. And so I go the next day. I was defeated and I wanted to get clean, and I got in my car and I went to get a napkin out of my glove box, and I opened the glove box, and a lottery ticket fell out. A fold
Oh
fell,
no.
and I did it without even thinking. Like there was no thought process, and at that moment I knew. I was like, I am a bona fide addict, man. And so I got clean the next day, and I stayed clean until 2010. I don't think that I wanted to figure out how to use successfully, because maybe like Joe and like Alex, I started getting high young, man. I'm the product of two addicts, and I watched my father smoke crack and do coke back in the 80s. I mean, this was the 80s, man. It was like party, and I'm 5 and there's a house full of people all doing blow. So I mean, I was just bred into it at a young age, and so I knew that I needed to stop. Joe might be different though.
I knew when I came to McShin, I got released from jail and got dropped off at McShin. I remember telling my sister, I was like, all right, I'll see you in 28 days. And she laughed and she was like, Joe, it's going to take a whole lot longer than that. And I had reservations. I knew I had reservations. I'm 20 years old. Of course I'm gonna get high again. Of course I want to get high again. And like if we being honest, like for me, a part of getting high was a lifestyle. So with one came the other, and they were both reservations. To the max. But I found myself leaning more to the lifestyle. I do that first, and then I put one in me. I was getting drug tested, and I had caught some charges that were gonna. My lawyer told me anywhere from 7 to 10 years, and I'm 20 years old from I ain't really know what the fuck, or I didn't really know excuse me what I was really getting myself into. I knew the only thing I knew is I wanted to stop. I wanted to stop feeling the way I was feeling. I wanted to stop feeling sad and betrayed and hurt and like a piece of shit and like just a scumbag, and then getting high and those feelings wouldn't go away even though I was high. Like even after nodding off and coming back, like those feelings were still there, and the shame and the guilt that came along with it. I couldn't do it no more. I didn't go seeking treatment. I had got arrested, and one of the opportunities was to go to the McShin Foundation, and of course I signed the papers. Who wouldn't? Who wouldn't?
Yeah, and you touched on something interesting there. It's like you can only run and hide for so long. And then your shit starts to meet you at the end of the tunnel, like I've been waiting on you. And so then you got to walk through that. If you want, if I actively want this, I got to stare at my defects, at my problems, and face them head on. That's not to say that I do that all the time. I still have, demons and responsibilities and stuff like that I'll like procrastinate and dip and dive on. But that's a hard thing to get to. I remember, just like you were saying, Joe, I came in the program, and before I gave my phone up, I called my manager. Before I called like anyone, I called my manager at my job and was like, hey, when's the earliest I can get back to work bartending? Like I didn't even give it a thought. I was like, because of that lifestyle attached to it, the performance, the making people laugh and all that. But it's just such a toxic environment if you actually want to stay clean. So like, Laine, what are some of those? What do you think? Like, what are some of those things that you've had to face head on? I mean, especially since you're pretty upfront about, having to give up that time at one point. What were some of those demons that you faced?
I mean, having substantial time clean, and I recover loudly. I'm definitely one of the more polarizing members of the community, and so that was true back then too. I was very plugged in and relapsing after 40 years clean. It's the self-imposed shame and guilt is so debilitating to like, for years I was so ashamed to show my face in a meeting again or in the recovery community, but it's like I always knew where to go. It's like I always knew what I needed to do. And I remember like being high and thinking about the basic text, and it really messed me up, man. Like what
a buzzkill, man.
What a buzzkill. Right? And so the journey of pain, self-imposed. I could have come back anytime. And it wasn't until years later that I finally started coming to meetings and picking up white key tags, and I got 62 of them before I finally got the 30-day key tag. But it was like to have to walk through, like you were saying, all that made up, like misery, and they're gonna hate me, and they're gonna think I'm a fraud, and I had all that clean time for what? And it was like, man, when I finally got to the end of my road this time, and let me tell you, like, it was the end. It was the most painful time of my life. Everything had been taken away from me, my kid, my job, where I lived, my freedom, just everything. And then to come back was great, but then it's like you said, like, man, there was so many things. There was so many big boy responsibilities off rip. Like, I mean, like 30 days clean, I didn't get a pink cloud. There was no pink cloud for me this time. It was that immediate, man, when you're a parent, it's a different it's a different thing when you've lost custody of your kid. It is a different feeling when you're clean, and to have to feel that at 2 days clean, at 12 days, at 62 days, and to have to stay fucking clean. Sorry for
It's
the
all
F.
good.
To have to stay clean through that is almost unbearable. And so, but we did it. We did it.
Damn right.
I know that's not an easy, like, I'm tearing up a little bit, and
All money
you
fair.
did, and now, Lane, what's the end result right now? Like,
Oh my gosh, man.
just so people know that, like, it's not like, oh yeah, and then I'm still doing that. I mean, you do have your kid now, right?
Fully, wholly, entirely. He is up my ass all the time, always asking me questions, always wanting some candy or a bubble gum or a new baseball bat, or to show me a new trick that he learned on his bike. And it's just to be there. Like, if you're new and you don't see your kids, stay clean.
Mm.
Like, as long as because I stayed clean, it put me in positions to improve the relationship, not only with him but his mom too. And so now we all live in the same house and we get along. And, like, I'm
Right.
telling you, like, this is some cataclysmic, like, plate tectonic shifting type shit that's happened, where we can all live together in
Yeah.
peace and love, man, and like really raise him together. It was 5 miles into the woods on that one and exactly 5 miles back out. But staying clean had to come first, and it is incredible now. It's unbelievable now. It's amazing now. Well, I'm like thinking about it. I beat myself up so much being clean. I don't think about his kind of stuff, but I'm getting happy just thinking about how good my whole life is, man. It's incredible.
I know, it's crazy. We could just be like chilling on Zoom and just, shoot. Like, there's no way I could have told you a year ago that I'd be doing something like this, like in
Wow.
a RCO
No.
house leader bedroom doing a podcast with people about recovery. No,
Yeah.
it's not happening. Like, it's just not. And being able to meet beautiful people like yourselves along the way is just a freaking bonus, man. Joe, I want to circle back to something you were saying about lifestyle, because I still like doing certain things. There are certain things that I obviously, like, can't do anymore. But how do you find? Like, I know that you still like to we'll say, like, play the ponies. So, like, how do you find that certain balance of things that you enjoy doing because they make you happy, even though they might, be a bit of an
It's like
obstacle or be a bit of a risk?
I mean, So what I was told is like, do what you want. Like in this program in recovery, you can do whatever you want for real. Don't get high and don't get drunk, and you got a chance at life. You still got a chance at life, you know. So for me, like, I don't even want to say like the first 3 years because it's still going on. Like it started off with seeing the girl that I used to get high with and I used to serve, and I would see her when I got my car back at like 28 days, and everything like that. I would go to Chesterfield and I would spend my overnights with my stick man and his people where they drinking and they smoking, and I like being around it. I like helping them, weigh out bags and everything and feel a part of, I like that. You know, it came a point in time where I was like, dude, I'm gonna get high. Like ain't no question. Like I'm gonna get high if I keep coming over here.
It's a
If I
matter of
keep messing.
when or how far you're going to get before it happens.
Yeah, like it's not. I'm an addict. I done proven that stuff. I'm 20 years old at a treatment center with a breathalyzer in my grandma's car. Like I can't. Like look, I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't do it. And it took a lot of beating my head and beating my head and. I know for me for a couple years was gambling. Like gambling was a big thing, and I haven't gambled in only like a couple months. Like it's only been a couple months, but I just had to get what they call hard won experience, right, Lane? Hard won experience, man. And I did the whole thing with messing with the girl, and she dragging me and I'm dragging her and back and forth, and I ain't want to let go and let God. I ain't want to take no one else's advice. I had all the answers in the world, I really did. All the answers with 70 days clean, a car and a bullshit, night job, cooking in the kitchen. I thought I knew it all, and once I realized that I didn't, and once I accepted that Joe, you don't know it all, and you don't have all the great answers. Your thinking's all messed up. Maybe you should let someone else do some thinking, not all of it, but some thinking for you. My life became a whole lot easier. Now my life is I don't get it twisted. I still like to do my own thinking, but
Oh,
not as toxic as it was in the beginning for me.
Yeah, and that's something that I still struggle with. And Lane, I've heard you say the same thing as man. Like I have spent so much time and energy in trying to prove to people that I was right, or that I know it all, or that I'm the smartest person in the room, that it's caused me so much more harm than good at
Yeah.
the end of the day. And it's just makes me, when I finally learned that there is so much more to learn, especially in recovery. Like I'm learning stuff every single day, and it really feels like almost the same lesson, just repurposed in a different way. Um, what was that like? This is kind of just open. Is that something that you still struggle with, Lane and Joe? Is like, did you have that oh shit moment where it's like I don't know it all, or does it still just come with active practice?
I mean, that's a really good question, and I like how you said, basically, life will give me the pleasure of teaching me the same lesson repurposed with the same thing over and over. Um, and I'm so righteous that I'll take the test. I will happily
I'll look
um
for it. I'll go
I
out and be like, let's go.
yes, I will absolutely do that. I think like years 1, 2, and 3 for me were brutal. I mean, they were really brutal through my own doing. Now, don't I mean this isn't
Yeah.
it's not it's my own doing that made them really brutal. I mean, from um I hear one, I was in an infamous group chat that that was awful, and it taught me it taught me a lot. And so that happened. I lost my job over it. I got kicked out of where I lived over it. My sponsor fired me over it. And so I'm going through all this at 9 months clean, 10 months clean, self-imposed, and I get served a capias for an old charge, and I have to go fucking turn myself in with a year clean. I celebrated a year clean in fucking jail, and I saw this guy, and I'm not going to say his name, but I saw him in there, and he lived in the place I managed at the time, Mick Sonny. And I walk in there, and he's like, "Man, I knew that program was some bullshit, bro. Look, you know what I'm saying?" I was like, "No, it's not, man. Like, it's through the program that I'm able to show up here clean." But it wasn't until year 4 that I really started to grasp the concept that I don't know. And I remember talking to my mom, and she's I'm not going to blow her. And all right, yeah, I'll do it. She's got a lot of time clean. And I was talking to her, and I was like, man, I don't know anything anymore. Like, I just am so unsure of myself. And she was like, bro, the tapes, your lifelong tapes, like of you dealing with situations, they're broken now. They don't work anymore. And that was a very eye-opening response for me to internalize. Like, holy shit, these literal lifelong tape, these cassettes that I have used to play for certain situations to deal with pain and hurt and happiness and fear, they're not working anymore. So yeah, I mean, I think through the process, it's been very, I know everything to I don't know anything.
Yeah.
Is that kind of like your experience, Joe?
I know. Like, the first thing that popped in my head when you brought up the question, was like, I know as a kid, like I was raised with morals and principles and like good guidance, and along the way, like, right, for me, like, if we talking about like getting high and everything, right around 14 is when I really went off, like when I really went to left field, right? And like the whole, I used to be a big athlete. Like, I used to love playing sports and everything. That all went to the back burner, and like hang out with the family, like went to the back burner and everything, and helping people and treating others as you wish to be treated, and stuff like that. Like, so, like, go to work, give them all give them a good hard day's work for a good honest paycheck. Like, all that went out the window. Like, I got high and like was gone, and so once I got into recovery, I realized, they started coming back. Like, those morals, those principles started coming back to me slowly over a period of time, very, very slowly, man. It's different from what Lane was saying, and his interpretation and my interpretation is different. But like, I gotta listen, I gotta listen to those people that were here before me. So those morals and principles, being a loving and productive, member of society can be reinstilled in me. And like Lane tell me all the time, he be like, Joe, give yourself a break, man. Like, good, like you beat the shit out yourself all the time, Joe. And I gotta sit back and I gotta be like, look, life ain't as bad as it used to. Life not terrible today, man.
No,
Not
today
with
is
that
a good
Mustang, it
day.
ain't.
Not with that Mustang. I'm 24 years old today, man. Today
I know. Happy birthday, brother. That's
Happy
awesome.
birthday, Joe Polo.
I'm sitting.
What a
in
way
my
to celebrate.
And I'm sitting in my apartment with my roommate about to get here. He's 19 years old with 3 years clean, man. Me and him butt heads, but we love each other. I got a beautiful car out there. I got a beautiful sports car out there. I got a career that ain't going nowhere, man. I never would have thought. I never would have given myself a chance 3.5 years ago, man. I won't gonna stay, man. There was something greater than me that was like, yo, you just hold up. Just one more time. Like,
Pump the
just one
brakes.
more day.
And you bring up something, Joe, that I mention a lot of times. Maybe not here as much, but like I beat the shit out of myself all the time, or I congratulate myself and tell everyone how good of a job I'm doing. There's very little in between. So I'm either like super arrogant and cocky, or it's and most of how I feel, I'm like, I deserve to be rewarded for how good I am at life right now. Or it's like, I can't believe that people enjoy my company when I'm still doing this sort of nonsensical bullshit. And I don't know. That's just something dear to my heart. I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that. Is those two extremes? Is that something that you guys have dealt with throughout your life, in other areas, maybe?
It definitely pops up for me still. It definitely like, gosh, man. Like it's hard for me it's hard for me to give myself credit a lot of the time, and in a not arrogant, like cocky, condescending kind of way. You feel me? It's hard for me to humble myself, but like it's like moments like that when like I'm doing a good deed, or like I get asked to speak at a meeting, or someone asks me to do something, right? And it's like, look, Joe, like this, like you're supposed to do this. First off, you're supposed to help them. You're supposed to help someone out, man. You're supposed to give back to the community, man. You ain't no Big Joe no more. You're not that image needs to be blurred. But like it's like in those moments, like catching it right then and there, and be like, how am I gonna react to this situation right here, right now? And it's rare, and it's like few and far in between. But when it come up and I do the right thing, and I handle it in the right form, it feels better. And I'd be forgetting about times like that. I'll just remember the times where I beat myself up because I gloated, or I thought I was big bad woohoo or whatever. It's those times that I remember and be like, look, I don't like the way that feels, so let me do something different this time. It's the moments.
Yeah, I've been tough at like taking criticism recently. Like people are like, "Oh, that's because you're doing this or that way," and I'm like, "You don't know me. Get out of my face.
Come on, Lane.
Don't talk to me like a child." Like that's how I'll get.
Lane,
I've said that actively.
Brody, do it, Lane.
Get him.
That's
God. Alex.
Is that your story, Lane?
Currently, past, present, future. Yeah, I mean, I'm, and the truth is, what people are saying is is true. Is true. Like, and it's my poor ego, my poor ego. How, and it's the same. Like, you don't, like, in my head, people don't spend time with me. So what you're saying about me is what you've heard from someone else who probably heard it from someone else. So there's no truth to it. Like, you don't know me. You're not in my, like, come over and see me hang. But, yeah, like, my reputation supersedes itself pretty often. And I struggle with criticism from certain people because I am worried, what is their motive? Like, are they trying to push me to be a better me, or are they trying to get me down to wherever they're at? And so I struggle with the motive, and like, all of a sudden, when I'm being criticized, I have some moral fiber that I never follow until you know what I mean? Like, until somebody says something. Now all of a sudden I have this what is your intention?
How dare you?
How dare you?
What you tell
Who
him,
are
Lane? Lane, tell him don't be throwing bricks in glass houses, man.
Oh my God.
Bricks in glass houses, man.
Joe, shut up, man. But the truth of it is, man, is like a lot of my blessings, man, have come from have come from people criticizing me, people man, somebody like Rodney, man, watching Rodney apologize to people who have blatantly hurt him and him forgiving them. And I'm like, I am so far away from where he is. Like, how could you do that? Right? But it plants this seed in my head, man. It like, and I lay down at night and I think, like, how, why can't I do that? Like, why can't I forgive people, man? And so then I end up doing it, and I end up apologizing, and I end up listening to what's being said truly from anybody. And it's no longer this moral fiber that this criteria that people have to meet that I don't live by. All of that goes away, and I'm able to listen to Laine, you're kind of a dick, and you need to stop and be more loving. So yeah.
Yeah, it's tough because that's something that I'll do is say like, oh, this person's allowed to criticize me, but not this person. Like you can easily pick and choose, like, oh, they have more clean time, so they're allowed to talk to me a certain way versus this person.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the way that my mind thinks, even though
Yeah.
it's totally like subjective. Like I could go back out tomorrow. Does that mean that all of my knowledge just goes straight out the window? Like it's such a I don't know, weird conversation in my opinion. Like I'll actively say, all right, anyone, if you don't think I'm doing something well around here, you're more than welcome to bring it to my attention. And then I'll justify and rationalize why I think and do certain things certain ways.
Go ahead.
And then they'll be like, oh yeah, I guess you're right. And I'll be like, that'll show you. Like it's so messed up.
Yeah.
So one of the other things that we were talking about pre-show, Laine, Joe, you guys are big personalities. We've talked about it before. You're very big sharers too. You're always good about spreading the message. A lot of the stuff that y'all have said has helped me out throughout my first day in recovery. I think I've seen y'all at meetings since then, honestly. And one thing that sticks out is that it's very engaging. I know certain people, when they share, they kind of, there's a certain performance aspect to it, I think. And I'm wondering how to display an accurate message while being engaging, but still, not making it that much of a performance, trying to still be you and authentic while not putting those personalities before principles.
Oh, it's hard not to do that though. For like,
well, that's what this is. You know what I'm saying? Like even something like this podcast is counterintuitive for reasons like that.
But if you sharing honestly and openly, like that's your personality. That's just ain't no. I mean, for me, principles. When I'm sharing, I don't know if there are any, and it's watching guys like Laine and Eli and Nate and Rodney, like just sharing where the hell they at and how they are, how they feeling. And I don't do I know I don't do the best at it. I really don't, but it's through watching them and seeing that it's all right to be who I am in a meeting, and y'all will love me regardless, but there's also definitely a form to sharing. Like first off, like if you don't know nothing about recovery, then you shouldn't be sharing at all. Unless you want to get high. That's what Stephanie T told me this when I was new. She's like, look, Joe, if I want to know how to get high, I'll ask you. We'll go to Chesterfield. Other than that, unless you want to get high, shut up. Shut the F up. and we'll work on it through there. And it was rare to hear someone say that, especially in 2017, because that's like old time shit. That's like stuff when Lane first got clean and everything, you know. And for her to carry that over, so I just, you know, sat down and just shut my mouth. And what I knew is that y'all could see right through me, right
Mm.
through all my words, because I had spent years telling family members and friends and PO officers and principals and all teachers, like, I'm gonna do better, I'm gonna do this, like talking a whole lot of good game, and then never was able to back it up. I always fail in one way or another. So like for me, like I was kind of scared to vocalize what I was gonna do, what I'm doing, and like on a platform like a meeting level. Now that I've been in recovery long enough, I could see, where I've come from and how far I've grown. So it's my duty to let other, newcomers know, like, this is available to you too. Like, don't think like this is out of the ability.
Mhm.
If I could sit here with everything I got, if Lane could sit there with with his baby mama and his son in the same house, and he about to have a crazy roommate come in there, look, y'all can do this shit. I'm telling y'all can do this shit, man. It's not impossible. But like at the end of the day, like it comes down to like whether you want it or not. Like if you wanna share like how we share, then you'll listen and you'll take like context clues, and you'll be thinking about. I be having meetings by myself in the car all the time. I remember going to my first convention and I was like, look, I'm gonna be up there speaking. I'm gonna be up there speaking just like he is in 30 years. It's because I want that. So I'm gonna watch and identify. I'm gonna, pick different pieces from Lane, from Rodney, from Nate, from Eli, and I'm gonna put my own little twist on it, man. When my time is ready.
No, and that makes perfect sense. I want to shout out to Mike Todd to reply by saying these dudes are keeping me in the herd. Lane, I think Joe is really touching on something, and the comments that are y'all some pretty sharing motherfuckers, good sharing asses. Like I that's kind of like a running joke with certain people
Yeah.
and things, and oh, you look at you with your good share, and like and in my head I see it, and correct me if I'm wrong. Everyone has different skill sets and different strengths and different weaknesses. So like I, and it's not to say that y'all aren't. I am pretty good like one-on-one with people. I like new intakes and talking to someone like individually, and being casual but trying to spread knowledge. I'm not good at sharing, and I'm okay with that. Is that like, do you agree with that, Lane? That kind of like everyone lauds that, because I feel like in any way that you are spreading your knowledge in recovery, that's literally sharing. So
It-
it's kind of like bubbled as like oh, talking in meetings is sharing, but all of it is. If you're helping anyone in your recovery, you're sharing.
yeah, I mean, I think Joe, you are a good sharing ass for sure,
You
man.
are
I remember the
with your
first
bad
time
self.
I heard you share, I was like dismantled. It literally, dude, it was incredible. And um so I have like a speech impediment, and so public speaking for me was always an issue as a kid, and I got picked on a whole lot for it, and I couldn't talk as a kid at all. And so I was always terrified of it. And so I think when I got older, I realized I could use that to my advantage in a comedic way. And I
Mhm.
used it going into sales. So I got into sales. And what I found was that it's a very uh, disarming thing having um, a speech impediment. And so all of this is to say, I had a sales manager. I was just selling cars, and it was miserable, and I hated it. And it's a tough gig, and I was really good at it. But I had
Yeah.
a manager tell me, I said, man, I'm having hard with product knowledge and trying to learn these cars and all the gadgets and doodads and fizz bangs and things that they do to sell. And he was like, man, the only two things. He said the first thing is the only thing you're selling is you. That's it. You're the product. He said, and remember, people buy from people. And so I think in the terms of being a good sharing ass, I remember that. Like people learn from people. And so sure, there's people who can quote the basic text or the big book front to back. There's people who can regurgitate things that other people have said. Don't let the halo choke you, right? Right? There's people who can do all of that, and it all serves a very good purpose for a newcomer or even an old timer to have someone quote something in their share is great. I think for me, the honesty, like a lot of people are like, oh, God, I would never go into a meeting and I would never share like that. But me sharing the honesty of my decisions in recovery, I'm not even talking about getting high. The shit that I have done clean, the deep, dark, secret sick shit that I have done clean, and going into a meeting and being moved by the spirit of the meeting, by the atmosphere of the meeting, bro, the people that come up to you afterwards in tears, like, oh my God, I thought I was the only one. And you just said that in front of 100 people. That is like, because I don't remember what I've shared. I really don't. I know that once I share, I want to leave because I feel so exposed and I feel so embarrassed and I feel so wide open, but the love that comes afterwards. So yeah, whatever capacity, if it's in a car and you're sharing with somebody in the car, that's for sure. If you're good at that, word. If you're good at writing people in jail or whatever it is that you're good at, if you're everyone can share, man. Everyone can share. And I've heard you share, Alex, and it's you should share more.
Thanks for the advice. Yeah, no, I appreciate that, Lane, and I think it's what we give back a lot of times, and that's what the two things are something that you guys have done often is helping that newcomer out. I know that helps me out a lot. It's wild how that one simple thing has helped. Like that's been my backbone is literally just like service work and helping the community and that sort of thing. Is that like what would you? I know this is like an impossible. I'm going to give an impossible question right now. What's the like most important rule or foundation or like principle in y'all's recovery if you had to like rank them or something like that?
Don't use no matter what. That is like paramount. Like I know we talk about
that's first.
That's first. I know
that's
we talk
first
about
for you
it,
guys. Okay,
but it's hard to do that without that fellowship and service work, and getting into some type of literature, something like that. It's hard to just not use without those.
I mean, yes, but no. I mean, I'm just I'll debate it, man. Like,
let's debate it.
And this is just
the first one that jumped out to me was I'm not going to get high today. Like, not no matter what, as much as like just for today.
Yes.
I know that they're like comparable or whatever, but I don't know. It's kind of something I've always thought about. Is like, you know, being a house leader and helping the newcomer has been like number 2 aside from like I won't get high today.
Yes, I mean I think don't use today. The most coveted thing for me in this fellowship is experience. That's the thing. That's the thing, man. That's like the thing that we all want, but unless you've done it, you can't have it. You cannot have the experience of losing everything and staying clean regardless. And sometimes I've had to stay clean with no fellowship, with no meeting, with no sponsor, with no phone, with no car, literally nothing. And it's like if that willingness, when at the end of the day, like that conviction,
But
I am.
can't stay. But you tell me, Lane. But could you stay clean? Could you stay clean?
We're not talking about staying clean. We're talking about today.
Just for today.
Don't
Just
use
for today.
no matter what. Sometimes in one moment, right?
Okay.
No, you can't stay clean like that. That's crazy. That's buck wild. That's buck wild.
You can't stay clean how?
Just by not getting high.
Yeah, that's what.
Yeah, clear and utter abstinence isn't like end all be all.
No,
I don't think.
No.
But I think having that conviction, that proper ass beating to stay clean no matter what has to be first. And then yes, I think right under that is doing something for somebody else, because I'm a selfish prick, man. I am like in every area, being a father, being a friend, being a sponsor, being an employee, like the only thing that has helped with my selfishness is somebody calling me and saying, "Hey, can you come get me?" or whatever. And then immediately I am like transferred out of me into that.
And that's kind of what Kelly said was stay honest with yourself and others. It's kind of like, I think it's the combination of both of those things, Lane. That's kind of like what you just said, is consistently reaching out or being able to be reached. Like if you're consistently, and that's kind of what you were saying also, Joe, is like if you're consistently almost to a fault dependent on other people and reaching out to other people, woo, I don't think they'll let you get high, even if you wanted to.
No. But there's got to be like, cause I'll use in that form, like I'll use in that form. I'll suppress my feelings and my emotions and what I'm going through and helping the newcomer, and taking all my focus,
like projecting your shit to try to like help them instead, almost like distracting yourself.
Like putting a lid, like putting all my shit in a box, putting the lid on it, and what's on top of the lid is helping the newcomers. You know, and thinking like I don't got to deal with that shit. Like I've done that a lot. Shit, I still do that sometime. You know, for real. I'll plan to do some step work. Be like, well, they said they really need to go to meeting. Joe, give them someone else's number. 50 other people going to the meeting that all drive. It's stuff like that. Like I know I gotta watch, man. I gotta take care of myself too. Because I just know for me. Like I will get overwhelmed and thinking that I have to help everyone in every little form, man. And then that's just not the case here. Like I do what I can when I can, and I'm blessed. When it comes to spare time, I don't have a son. I don't have a significant other. My time is free and abundant. I got work and Nana. That's it. Nothing comes
Nana.
Nothing comes before that. I don't care what it is.
I think also though it's a fine line, like you were saying Alex, about if we're constantly in someone's back pocket, or if we're constantly reaching out to somebody, that can bleed over into like codependency area.
That's what I wanted to end on. I'm glad you said that word, because I've had this locked and loaded, is the codependency conversation. What does it mean? Can you all right, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I'm glad you said that.
No, so like for me, sponsees have taught me how freaking codependent I can really be. Like I can really get lost in someone else's life. And when they relapse or when they change sponsors or when they get a girlfriend, oh my God, bro, yo, it's
on,
like
man.
I feel worthless. Like, and it's just like we talked about kind of at the beginning of the show. Then I'm left to look at the reality of my life. And so codependency for me is like, you feel, so I feel. Like, I need you so that I can. That kind of stuff is like, you're my sponsee and you should do what I say. And why are you doing it this way? And it's taught me so much about letting go. And like Joe said, that self-care piece is so important. It's such a balancing act on it's such a balancing act on like, because I'll get lost in loving someone and losing me. That's what it is. Like, I love you so much, I have lost me.
Clean.
Woo, dog almighty.
Clean.
Have you dealt with that, Joe? What are your thoughts, man? Jump in there.
Currently, Joe. Uh-oh.
Oh, currently, I'm trying to find that balance.
He found it down at the Outer Banks.
So in the past, few months, my spouse have been wanting me to work, like be with myself and sit with myself, and here I am, like I've been half-ass doing it, and I've been feeling it with the service work of helping others, right? More abundantly than I need to, and here I am, I got someone that I'm talking to now, and I'm really really trying, like, to have me time, helping other time, the bros time with Laine and Eli and the guys, recovery time and time for her. And like this is all new to me because Laine know real well. About a year ago, it was all her time. It was
North Carolina.
everything. Like, look, no Nana.
What
no
if Nana gets a boyfriend?
What if
That's my
Nana gets a
sister-in-law.
boyfriend? Yo.
No, Nana ain't getting no boyfriend. But Laine hit it, man. Like finding that balance. And it's like before you even find the balance, you gotta know that you unbalanced. And then like I be noticing I'm unbalanced. I'll be like, I'll fix it next time and just carry on with giving her all my time. Or just giving them all my time and forget to take care of Joe, man. I can't keep running, ripping and running. Like that's not like I did that for so long, an active addiction, like all of us did. Like nowadays I find it important to be like, I have to be able to sit with myself by myself in a healthy manner, not isolation, in a healthy manner, and be all right with Joe, man. I'm telling you. But yeah, I'm really trying to work with that whole let her have her time, let the bros have their time, let recovery have, its time, and it's a fine line, and I can't let one get too heavy, because then if the girl get upset, then it's oh no, what am I doing wrong? I'm beating
And it's
myself
my fault. Yeah.
And then if it's more of her and less of recovery, I'm gonna get high. She don't gotta get high. I'll get high if it's less recovery. And if I leave the dudes, man, that's my network, that's my fellowship, man. Not only will they talk shit to the day I die and piss on my grave, I really will miss it. This is real, man. Look, I'm telling you.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, and then you put work in on top of that, and it's a lot. You got to consistently keep the plate spinning. And I haven't dealt with this much time to ever actually have to manage before. I think that's kind of what you were saying, Joe. Is I've never had like this much little free time in my life that I have to try to actively like plan stuff. and manage it wisely and make time for me to stare at a television screen playing video games by myself, because that's might be just what I need, honestly. Like when I'm dealing with people for 12 hours a day, I need at least 2 where I can be by myself and stare at a wall. Like, you know, metaphorically, also quite literally at the same time. It's interesting, man. Got to find a balance.
Gotta find a balance.
You guys got anything else before we close out? This has been a trip, man. I'm sorry Eli didn't get to join us, but next time he'll be the ringer next time.
Yeah, I just really appreciate. I have watched you take this and really turn it into something awesome, man. And so I really, you know, appreciate your work and your time in the late night herd, and you've had some great guests, and I'm really honored to be on here and to be giving back to McShin, to be on this with my brother Joe. Is just thank you very much, Alex.
Oh man, thank you. I'm glad you've been watching that, and coming from you, that really means a lot, man. Thank you, Joe. You got any final thoughts, brother?
I just want to say congratulations again, man, on over a year clean, man. Some people say, you know, the first year was a gift. Now the work comes, however you want to take it. I worked hard for my first
I believe
year.
that.
Maybe I'm just not there yet, but you know, enjoy it, Alex. For real, man. You worked hard. You know, I see what you're doing. I remember going to 10-step a couple times when you was leader at the Scott's house. You know, you've come a long way, man. You're doing good, man. Just keep holding on, man, and keep pushing forward, man. And I appreciate you. Oh, here he is. Oh,
no, that's the little ender. He comes in at like the last minute.
Yeah, and I just, you know, I appreciate McShin for everything they did, man, and the great opportunities. Laine, you know, I look up to you and I love you, man, for real, man. You my dog, man. I'm gonna see you Sunday morning. We're gonna get on that step work. We made it. We made it public. We got to do it.
Oh my God, it's on the record, gentlemen. Y'all are huge role models. I've watched y'all since day one. How you move and operate, and it really means a lot to have you guys on here. Y'all are my brothers. I love you guys. Like this has been a real treat. Like this has been a blast, honestly. Cutting up and being able to show people like you can still geek out and take this stuff seriously at the same time. So that's really, you know, important, I think, is that people don't have to sit there and think like I'm clean and all I do is go to 12-step meetings and go to my step work. Like
you gotta try it.
And so like y'all are prime examples that you can cut up while doing recovery shit at the same time. So like I really thank you guys for being the message of hope, and thanks for coming on. We'll do this again, guaranteed. Yeah, that's on the record as well. I love you guys. Todd, our producer, you're the man.
Todd, love, man.
You crushed it, brother. Eli, we'll get you on eventually. This has been Getting the Herd After Hours. Peace out, folks.
Hey, amo.
Tired of waiting, lost while I'm sitting at home. Dream of of a new destination, lust for something unknown. Oh, you better leave it alone. I'd rather get up and go. How long can I lie around waiting for it? Sometimes you gotta walk out the door. No limits, no ceiling, no crown. No pressure gonna hold me down. No stopping till I break every rule. No limits to what I can do. Nowhere is too far away. No border gonna stand in my way.